The battle of steals continues, ladies and gentlemen. Our first map going by the way of Ghost. Our second map going by the way of Luminosity in a stunning comeback that seemingly came out of nowhere. And now we're here on the third and final map of the series to decide which of the two steals and, of course, which of the two teams will be moving onwards into the grand finals. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the DreamHack Open.
It's been an interesting tournament so far, and it doesn't stop here. Of course, we have this game that's gone all the way to the third map. All of our analysts said this is going to be a 2-0, but Luminosity wanted it differently. And now James and the boys over at the Ghost Camp, they have a big task ahead of them. This is Inferno. This is where we usually go on these third maps. Both teams around a 50% win rate. Could be rather close. They played each other in the last iteration, or the current iteration of Pro League. That was 16-11 in favor of Ghost. But then again, that's online results. On LAN, everything is different.
And much like our last map, I think a lot of these crucial gun battles are going to end up coming down to op presence. And for that last map, Luminosity won that fight 9 times out of 10. They had Henny, he finally woke up, and more importantly, we were seeing a consistent op being put into his hands because they didn't have to deal with the poor economy for 90% of the time. And it wasn't even just him. The secondary op from Luminosity also, depending on who was holding it, was also posing quite a threat in multiple rounds too. So Ghost, they have to figure out how to deal with that, and they got to figure it out very, very quickly. While they have some good power of their own coming in from Wardell, it wasn't enough in that last map, so we need to see the heat kick up going on to Inferno for this last map. I think it is time, though, folks, to jump into it. And we are going to be going live in just a couple of seconds.
Yeah, I feel like Wardell and Henny pretty much changed like the way that they played. Wardell was very dominant, had like the whole train yard as his own like ground almost on that first map, and now on the second map he kind of disappeared. And that's when Henny just stood up and said, okay, then I'm going to take the place as the #1 opera on the server. Do have the pistol going live right now. Deep nade onto Banana, doing a ton of damage.
That's completely destroyed them. And it's turned this half-wall into a gauntlet now for them to try and get past Yao with a bit of a messy spray. It's Sabrosa again, who's been doing actually a really good job in these pistols across the board. That saves Ghost. And still gives them a chance to win this pistol after all. Things are obviously going to slow to a screeching halt. Now they moved up here. They're looking for a kill against the player holding the crypts. And Steel is going to be the one to try and do that, but he'll be forced back. The rest of Ghost will push up onto the B site and will have access enough to get a plant going, where the rest of Luminosity will be rotating in for the retake.
Lucas finding Steel. His teammate getting the assist there. Still a kid on the CT version of Steel, the Brazilian one. Wardell, 1v3. Is he going to make it though?
Tap on the bomb, try and force him out. He's not on it, and the spray up from the pistol will be enough to take down Henny. Great recovery and great frags from both Wardell and Sabrosa too, we can't forget, who saved them at the beginning of the round. And with that, the record remains nearly flawless for Ghost on pistols. Only one loss that happened in the second half of the last map. Besides that, they've taken every other one in the series.
That 1v3 is never supposed to happen. Like, the CT side always has to be able to lock that down whatsoever. Even if it's just straight, like, duels, if you have no utility whatsoever, you at least gotta go for the refrac and just play 2v1 with one of the tiers. Like, that has to be the way to go. But unfortunate for Luminosity, they can't bring it home here. And of course, like, great shots by Wardell. We can't give that away. Now 4 Deagles. 1 CSET 75 is all the investment reads on Luminosity. Interesting that they go down to around $1,300 here in this round, where most teams actually, in this meta, will go for a full eco. So they have every single piece of dollar they want for the buy coming in the next round. This is then showing us, and we're going to see a couple of Deagles now, a couple of Deagles next round, and then the full buy with the double op potentially.
Yeah, to be fair, we saw quite a few upsets on these types of rounds in the past couple of maps, though, so I think Luminosity's kind of bank on that fact, hoping to capitalize on a couple of early Deagle kills. We didn't see those, and I think they're going to be a lot less common overall in Inferno, just with the way the map works. I think the map's a lot more sectioned off between the T and CT areas of the map they start off with control on. I think those early Deagle kills are going to be a little bit more few and far between, and are likely to happen kind of in this situation where it's one of the first contact spot that Nekas is taking right now. It's Henny on the other side of the map, though, that strikes first by taking out Kusta, who was trying to lurk, I think, inside of the apartments.
Yeah, definitely the lurk not working out, and he was supposed to catch all the rotators onto Banana off guard. There's going to be the post plant 4v4, boost over, but that's going to be shut down. Steel is killed by Sabrosa. Lucas trying to lock through the smoke with a Missile Eagle.
Can't breach past the smoke wall just yet, unfortunately, so Ghost will continue to maintain control with 4 men strong. Luminosity already backing up here. They're certainly going to be trying to play for exits, not really the retake at this point. They just can't bargain their way back in. I think they're just going to try to squeeze as many players from Ghost into that site as close to the bomb explosion as possible. so as to force them getting knocked out and just make this round more expensive for them. But the problem is the box was busted open from the opposite side, so that's no longer going to happen. Their entire defensive setup over here towards CT spawn fell apart, and they're just going to run over towards A now in order to keep all 4 of these guys alive.
Saving 1 Molotov as well on Neptune, as Ghost are going to be really happy with the way that this round has played out. On the other side of things, of course, Luminosity, 1 Deagle, 1 MP7 that can be dropped over, brought into this next round. That means that they can invest on at least those 2 players a little bit more into utility. They're still going to have enough money for that buy coming in the next one anyways. So we could potentially see a double nade stack somewhere, maybe a flash timing to go out and take banana control, maybe a deep smoke towards banana could be good as well. Let's wait and see what the choice is. Actually, it's going to be 4 smokes. So just to buy time, I presume, and see if you can find some close-range duels.
Wardell, meanwhile, just going to be taking the raw up by with the armor sitting behind it, so he won't be able to contribute to utility, but with the other 4 fully stacked out, he should easily be able to pull off the job for him. Meanwhile, Luminosity's camp, there's not much of an investment at all, just a stack more than anything towards the A-bomb site. Ghost is investigating that side of the map, but there's nowhere near any sign of a commitment yet from them. They're still planning to be playing this incredibly passively for at least the next 20 seconds or so before we start to see them shape up for an actual execute here, since they are going up against the save now from Luminosity. And they're probably aware of that too. Yeah,
not too bad of a save though, so this is a low investment round, but still Desert Eagle C-sets, they can do damage, and we picked up NP7 with head armor as well. Don't underestimate it. As it looks like Ghost are gonna execute straight into this stack.
So this could prove a little bit messy here. This could allow for Luminosity to get away with something.
Unless they turn around and go CT straight. Oh, okay, this is going to be dangerous now.
They'll move into the site. They see the power that's thrown against them, but for now, they've been able to evenly trade it. And yeah, the spot onto the graveyard certainly helps with all the players they did see. They're going to check every angle from that point forward. So Kusta gets the pre-fire off onto Henny upon the peak. And with that, that's Ghost taking control. They get past this massive stack, and actually there's a lot less players than I would have thought. Nekez is left alone. He can still find some impact here by taking out 1 or 2 of these guys, especially the lower players like Kusta, if you can find him in the open. But no, it's going to be Kusta himself that takes down Nekez and wins out the round for Ghost, with still 3 standing despite running into the near 5-man stack.
One thing they're really happy about Ghost right now is that 4 out of the 5 kills came from Mac 10s, so the economy is going to be really, really strong on the T side now. They also pick up the AWP, take some weapons with them into the next round, so economy-wise, the T side of Ghost Gaming standing really strong, but do remember that Luminosity have saved a couple of rounds in a row now, so they're going to have the full buy. They have the opportunity to go for double op setup with not as much utility on the secondary op. Henny has enough money, but I'm gonna expect them to go 1 op and then full utility on everyone else.
So we'll get into it in just a moment here, guys. Continue on with the matchup now.
Okay, they go for less utility and double op setup. That's a bit of a risk in my opinion, but let's wait and see. Luminosity, they're known for making risky plays and making them work out.
Should work out okay, though, because generally speaking, you're not going to necessarily need some of that more early utility unless you want to play kind of hyper-aggressive. And it looks like Luminosity don't want to do that. As long as they save pretty much all of this utility they have right now until the execution comes in from Ghost, they should be in okay shape. The problem shows up if we see this little poke and prod that Ghost is doing now towards Banana, and probably similar things that would happen towards A. If that forces out any type of utility, that's where Luminosity are going to end up running into issues in the long run here.
Kind of curious that Henny has 1550 on the bank account left, and he didn't buy a full kit. Unless you want to peek aggressively, then I can kind of understand it. Yeah. But he's sitting at the back of pit.
Well, here's some of the utility getting tossed out by Luminosity. Now the Molly being used around the wrap side here to hold back Ghost as they do take control of brackets. And not only that, but also move into the apartments to try and utilize this as well. There's a 2-man setup on the A site, and of course you still have Steel sitting around the corner, back over by Arches to hold off any type of wrap side push too. Ghost look like they're ready to reinitiate at any time now that the Molly's... Another utility that was thrown up by LG. They'll move directly into Steel. They dink him. It's going to take a second player, though. Steel from Ghost to take out Steel from Luminosity. As the rest of Ghost, they're going to start moving in around the port side here. Henny can't really see much, but they're still finding impact from inside of the pit. They just try to act like the pit doesn't exist, but that doesn't work too well. Their wrap side players get torn to shreds, and Wardell and Kusta now to try and find a way to hold 2v4 in the post plan with not a lot of intel to work off. They just know 2 players are in the pit, and they're going to have a likely retake coming in from the other side. Wardell finds the pinhole to take down Henny. A ballsy push out into the open there, considering the close proximity of the other CTs. We will see a 1-for-1 exchange, leaving Kusta alone. He cleared out the pit, but gets incredibly aggressive in the last moment, giving him away to Nekez and giving the round to Luminosity.
Luminosity grabbing their first here in Inferno. And even though it was 2v4, that kind of looked dangerous. Lucas, really nice play by him, getting that double kill, but in the end, Wardell very close to bringing it home. And now, Luminosity, words are being exchanged. Sack the coach, having a few words to the players. After that round, that maybe came a little bit too close to comfort after they initially had the 4v2.
They did pretty good on that round, though, to be fair. You know, they didn't panic and pit and try to push up to the side or anything like that. They just sat back, knew the rotates were going to come within a few seconds, knew they could wait out the smokes and whatnot, and then play from that point forward. So they didn't over-exaggerate it. While the pit players eventually did get dealt with, they caused so much of a threat on the actual take and did, if not kills, did quite a lot of damage to Ghost from the inside there and took out that entire wrap side play that was really supposed to seal the deal on the A-side control and call off that rotate, making them save instead. That didn't happen. They got torn to shreds by the pit players, and then they remained a constant threat even in the retake. They were dealt with, like we said, by Kusta eventually, but then Kusta didn't have enough HP or ground to deal with the players coming in from Library. A quick push is going to be the name of the game this time for Ghost, though, as they quickly move up to the B site. They're going to try to do a flower pot boost, but they've already lost Nekis. It's going to go unnoticed, though. Steel gets a double kill. They wouldn't think they would have had time to do that. Beautiful work from LG, and it brings things back under their control, at least for the time being.
Smoke came a bit too late, and so the focus towards that potential boost position. To grab 2 frags and supposed to find a fast kill. Drop that down. As they have 2 players towards construction, and 2 players rotating in towards CT. It's going to be a 3v4 post-plant scenario. T-side can't let hold it. Wardell with the AWP has to come up clutch again. Constantly being chain flashed by now.
Steel still holding the line from Ghost. 2 quick kills from the backside of Nubox as he goes into the open to play behind the fountain. Instead, it's already been called off by LG. He's done it. Well, he will eventually fall to Henny. Henny takes a lot of damage. That's a nice shot from Sabros. I think it's the head on the Glock there midair. He'll also go down to Henny at the end of the day, and Wardell just has to hope he got far enough away, but with 100 HP, he will survive the encounter. So will his opponent Henny from the other side. But the round goes back to Ghost, and so does the round share control in the overall game right now.
Very ballsy call to go for the straight banana push. 1 Mac-10, 3 AKs and 1 AWP, and you still go for that play. And even though you burn in the beginning, thanks to that Molotov, still going to push through and go for that initial opening. Very ballsy call, but it works out for Ghost Gaming. Of course, some mistakes of not being too focused and not expecting that boost to come in, but nonetheless, they take the round. They can be happy with that, and now they force Luminosity into this buy here. The money isn't great. If they lose this, they're going to be on a straight econ. That's going to be 5-1. It's big trouble in the Brazilian camp if they can't bring it closer to this one. Henny once again with the AWP, of course, exactly where you want him.
Ghost are going to continue this passive opener, though. Not really going to be throwing their weight at anything too early on in the round. They pulled that off on the last round, and it's worked out well for them there. No need to repeat that and overplay their hand a bit on aggression. That was what they also used quite a bit on their first map to pick up rounds. And they were smart about the way they played it on Train, too. Never kind of overplaying the aggression too much, never falling into a pattern with it to where it could be predicted by LG and kind of just run over. LG actually have quite a bit ready to try and stop this, despite the disadvantage they're working with. The problem is I think a lot of it's going to be speed. Lucas with a nice adjustment to find the trade. Henny holds strong for at least 1 kill, and they had these 2 other players sitting on the edge of Cat to potentially go for a quick pinch and flank around through mid. But I don't think that's in the cards anymore here, unfortunately. They've been outwitted, and there's just not enough time for them to get over there and pull off the retake with a complete lack of intel at this point. So these 2 from Luminosity will be pulling back to save, and Ghost are going to end up with a 5th round.
Very simple round here from Ghost, just basically trading their way into the A bomb site that smokes towards Moto, or small sand, as we call it in Europe. And yeah, this is working out for them. Also gives them a buttload of confidence, knowing that, okay, with 1 smoke and 1 flash lockdown, we can actually trade our way into the site, win the site, and be in the 3v2. That's very nice for their T-side so far going forward, knowing that they have the opportunity to go for straight trade rounds.
They're smart, though. They'll kind of read into the caveat of that, and that Luminosity technically weren't fully equipped this round. They had quite a few players on like Deagles, or as you can see, still from Yell's case, FAMASas, and probably lacking utility and quite a bit of respect. So we'll see if Ghost's confidence continues to show that they can try to make those types of plays, or if they ran into the fact they weren't fully bought in this time, then okay, maybe we can't get away with this on a full gun round, but in these kind of half-buy or anti-eco situations, we can easily get away with something like that.
see here, Nekis and Yell will have to be the difference makers. Yell is going to try to do exactly that by pushing straight into middle. Finding Steel does not know that he's also dropped the bomb because it fell straight into the Mexico, Vietnam, or whatever you want to call that tunnel. I've heard so many names for that position.
I do Mexico usually is what I call it. We do see Neptune. Oh, look, they walk right past each other.
So awkward. Awkward.
Oh no, and he's just in the bomb too. Lucas is getting so much info right now. He's going to walk right up. I think he saw that other grenade, so he knows he's got a teammate nearby. Oh, his other teammate's going to jump into the fray a little bit too soon there, though. And as such, we'll see the immediate trade from Subrozid. They realize there's a second player that's still lurking here, though. I don't know if they realize that Henny still has a position just outside of T-spawn and can really mess with these guys. It's not just him either, because look, Steel and Nekis are also working their way down from Banana right now to further support Luminosity. Henny may have jumped into the fight just a tad too early. They look away, leave Orel to watch the flank, though, and he's going to put down one of the last two players. Nekis, though, brings it into a 1v1, the 2 kills of his own. He's going to try to chase down Subroza, but he's got a smart way to play this out. He runs away, and he's going to go for the plant on A. To at least start ticking the timer in his direction instead of Luminosity's.
Do focus on the fact that Subroza still has a Molotov as well, and a smoke, so he can put down either the smoke towards this position. Actually, he's going to go for the aggressive peek. That's the play of winning around. X is not counting on that. Very nice done. Even though he has the advantage with both the smoke and the Molotov, he just goes straight for the aggressive positioning.
Ends up with a 4K at the end of the day, too. So quite a bit of chaos there, just due to Ghost missing a couple key flanks. Granted, not really of any fault of their own, just timing more than anything. But yeah, they managed to recover it, and Subroza is the one that recovers it for the most part, as he picks up 4 out of 5 of the kills in that round.
Nice round by him. So we do have communication between the teams. Could be a sign of a tactical timeout on the Brazilian side of things.
Yeah, it's been a streak once again here coming in from the Ghost side of the equation. So once more, Luminosity seem to hit that wall. They cannot seem to pick up any rounds despite getting massive positional advantages. But granted, these last 2 rounds have been either half buys or full ecos, and they've been getting very close despite the economical disadvantage. So there's no reason for them, in my eyes at least, to be this frustrated at this point.
Yeah, it's just Henny nice with a good shot with the AWP. Slightly through the wall there, but don't count that as a wall bang. That was just to the edge of the corner. But yeah, like that's one of the things with Luminosity. You kind of feel like they seem frustrated, but from what I've heard from players and coaches formerly working with some of these players is that that's just how they talk. Like that's just how it is.
Yeah.
It's not because they're that frustrated. If any other team, like if you saw a stream like Astralis talk like that, you would know, okay, there's something up. They never do that. But Luminosity, that's just how it works. That's the dynamic of this team.
Nice bailout from Lucas to quickly take down Steel. It's Hetty also finding a second pick from further back. It's a full real setup, a full stack from Luminosity onto this site, and they've read Ghost like a book since they've fallen into a pattern of pushing this site now. Kusta left as the last one. Amazing, got around that corner to begin with, but Hetty will quickly take him out, ends up with a 3K on the round, and Luminosity finally get a second, and it's an incredibly convincing one due to that stack.
And that's the thing, if you can take that fire and just put it into the server as well and just like, okay, channel it into something else. Like Henny, for example, had a couple of problems these last couple of rounds, and then this round, steps back in, has a little bit of a discussion with his brother, and then gets a 3K. That's some of that fire that Luminosity just brings to the server that's very hard to counter if you actually meet up against it in a 1v1. If you make them angry, if you get them to a 1-6 deficit, and then all of a sudden feel like it's going well, slap you straight in the face.
Well, we've got Ghosts trying to push their way up towards Banana early on, but a double nade will destroy Steel. Gives it no chance for recourse. Subroza again saving the day for Ghost here, though. Double kills for him. Steel from Luminosity, in the meantime, makes his own push out to trade on Akusta. But in comes Neptune, but he doesn't have his weapon even ready drawn at that point. So Steel picks up yet another kill and puts a complete stop to this push from Ghost for now.
Kind of curious why he wanted to go through that smoke. His 2 teammates were not ready at all, so that's a small communications mistake on the side of Ghost. Now, it was a 3v3, now it's a 2v3, making it a lot harder unless they can find an opening. They're going to go for the logical play here. Okay, we cannot get through to B. They've seen us already, probably rotated 1 player. Let's try and hit the bigger bomb site that has more openings and probably also will be able to at least have a 2v1 duel, and then when the rotation comes in, maybe he can catch a guard, but to begin with, we're going to have a 2v1. And that is the right choice here. Because you can see Henny still staying in CT. He's still focused on that B bomb side. And in 10 seconds time, if they want to go for the straight duel, these two players are going to be in Lucas's face.
Lucas not even has a smoke, still a check out here.
That's such a nice smoke with 20 seconds to go.
And they can't even afford to wrap around it anymore. I don't think they have the time if they want to stay quiet. They've got to walk right through it. The problem is, though, is that it doesn't look like Lucas is even checking it anymore. So they are going to walk right in, but they don't even consider the pit as an option. Easy first kill. He doesn't even have to take the secondary fight. He can just wait out the timer, and that's exactly what he does. He falls to Sabrosa. It doesn't matter. Sabrosa doesn't have time to plan. The round goes to Luminosity, and they're well on their way to coming back into it now, starting things off with this 2-round streak so far. And
Lucas technically only getting 1 frag that round, but on his own winning that, because the second that he goes down, if he doesn't place that smoke, they just walk in, go straight for the frag and go for a trade. Yes, he might get 1 frag and then he gets traded. It's a 1v2 with the bomb planet. Anything can happen. By placing down the smoke and playing so passive, killing the bomb planet straight when he comes in, he just wins this round all on his own. Incredibly nicely done by him.
So the 2 rounds dropped here. We'll see if there's some more proactive attempts from Ghost to take a pause once again. It does look like there's some communication going on. But I don't know if they would have called for a pause this earlier, or Steel maybe wants to try this out for 1 or 2 more rounds before taking the team back for a sec to discuss things.
One thing as well is the confidence now in Luminosity. They know, okay, we can technically just leave one player in a 1v2 or a potential 1v3, and we can still count on him to take that out and give us a W on it. That's also so important for the rotation kind of confidence. If you feel like, okay, we're getting pressured on this opposite side, yeah, we just leave Lucas. He's done this a couple of times now. We believe that he can continue. And then Yell and Henny with a double up setup. 1 up on Wardell. This is the force buy from Ghost. Gonna be on an eco if they mess this up. So Wardell, time to step up to the plate.
And for the Ghost roster here, we are going to see them start to move out towards Boiler and Brackets early on, but they're already running into interference. Luminosity really is not even poking out too much here. Just a couple flashbangs they've tossed back at them. And not even any smokes or mollies utilized either to hold them away. Finally, we see some of that showing up from Luminosity. It's obviously a bit of a late gesture here with Ghost, for the most part, already being in position to move out. Haven't actually even taken Brackets yet, so Ghost is being incredibly passive about the way they approach this push towards the A site, but they are without a doubt going to be committing to this side of the map. Steel will be ready to take multiple players down. 3 quick kills from Steel before a peek from Wardell finally trades him.
Yeah, now it's up to Neptune to gain an entry, but he's going to get shut down completely. And now Wardell, the one who had to make the difference, and he got his first frag, but already then when he got that, 3 of his teammates were dead thanks to the spray down of Steel, so not going to be the difference maker that he hoped to be this round. It's going to go to Luminosity, and yes, they're going to bring an AWP into the next one, but it's going to be a complete eco on the back of that, so yeah, it's tough lives currently in the Ghost camp. And on the other side of things, 4 weapons saved, even some utility brought into the next round as well. With Luminosity, after a horrendous start to this map, they were 1-6, remember. This has now been 3 rounds in a row.
It's going to turn into quite the streak, too, if they keep shutting down their opponents in the way that we saw Steel do right there. Just takes an out-in-the-open fight. We'll see this once again. This is an incredibly aggressive position that he's taken. Normally, you have the support of either the cubby to his right or the wall to his left. He goes directly into the fight and still manages to take down 3 players before the AWP moves out from Boiler to take him down.
A couple of flashbangs for the T side here. Could be the apartment explosion. That's a really common play to make when you don't have a big investment. Show some presence toward the other side of the map, which is Banana. Neptune will do that, and then you'll get a flashbang from middle. That's going to be potentially Wardell, because Sabrosa doesn't have it. Let's wait and see who's going to throw it. Could be Steel as well. Sometimes the in-game really likes to do that. But for now, Wardell is actually positioned up here with the AWP, so not looking like the standard eco apartment explosion. See Lucas on the side, ready and waiting. Bomb on the back of Steel with a singular flashbang. If they get Lucas, they have a chance of taking this bomb site. He's rotating away now. Wardell, will he get lucky and get this? Oh, that's perfect.
Lines it up. Takes down Lucas in the process. And he's going to get surprised upon as well. It's always the ecos, right? And we're going to see Ghost move in with full A-site control now. Steel from Luminosity, the closest to be able to try and stop any of this, but he's already backing away. That's it. The towel's been thrown in by Luminosity for this round. And they're gonna back away and just save. Ghost will get away with it, and they didn't even have to invest anything. They just walk right in, pick up 2 kills, and clear out the site. Luminosity can no longer afford to contest, so Ghost will get away with it, take their 7th.
Yeah, actually, really like that bait play when you have an AWP. I've never really seen that before in a high-level game where you kind of fake that it's going to be 2 or 3 people running out of apartments with pistol, and that's going to make the guy who plays side think, okay, I'm not going to be swarmed by these pistols. If they have a flash timing, they can screw me up. So I'm just going to rotate away and play the retake with the rest of my teammates. And then you have the AWP just holding that angle because you know, unless he goes straight into library, which wouldn't make any sense, you can shut him down straight up. And that's the only angle that he can have with that AWP from that position. But he gets the kill, and that's the side control. Very nice little setup. Neatly done.
Some renewed confidence for Ghost, hopefully, as they prepare to move towards the end of this half. We have 4 rounds left to play out here in the first half, and Ghost are certainly going to want to try and hold dominant control of things again. Them switching over to CT side, which is where the issues popped up on the last map for them. We hope they can play it a little bit better on this map, but to wait and see on that one. Luminosity does try to throw a little bit more aggression at their opponents this time. At least they were leaning to here towards Banana. But I think it's more of a defensive setup to counter any early aggression. And in the meantime, Steel from Ghost stuck with the odds, taking down Henny on the A site. Subroza still finding impact on Banana as well. Moves in and takes out 1 before getting traded by Steel from Luminosity. Lucas holding in the flower pots gets 2 on inside of the A-bomb site. He will be traded by Wardell, and that brings us into an even fight once again. 2v2. Yale's got a great position. Problem is, Smoke is going to block him off, prevent access, and Wardell will deny the flank coming in the other way from Steel on porch side.
3 AWPs left alive in this clutch. Which one is it going to be? Yale comes in with the first one, tries to go for the secondary peek, sees the pixel angle, and now he's just holding it. Wardell has to make a play, but the bomb is taken away. Smoke on it, flash as well, and it's going to be the defuse. He's ready with a nade, though.
Drop down. We'll see the tap originally come out from Yell here. He's going to hold back. He's so smart right now, waiting for the peek, but the shot misses. The pistol shots are missing too. He's just going to commit to it. This time the pistol shot's hit. But no, Wardell, what are you doing? Doesn't get himself the kill. And we are going to see the defuse go off after all from Luminosity. It'll be close, and Yell will win it with just 2 HP. But at the end of the day, the round goes to Luminosity.
That is super unfortunate for Wardell. I felt like until that last piece of action, he played it correctly. And then just in the dying seconds of the round, mistakes were made. Yell with a nice shot, though. That's almost blocked off entirely by the disappearing smoke. But he's going to take it nonetheless, 7-5. This is going to be full invested round apart from 1,300 on Steel and 1,600 on Kusta. Full utility setups though, and an AWP on Wardell. To remember that round before was actually a double AWP setup on T-side Inferno for Ghost. That's something that we don't see a lot, and I don't think we're going to see again because obviously they lost a round on it.
We'll see Henny start things off well in the 13th round now with his initial pick against Kusta. Wins out the out battle there, at least for now. And Wardell as well picks up the op now.
It's going to be the B hit, the B go. Smoke towards CT, smoke towards coffins, Molotov on the first box, and then flash timing to go in. Very standard setup. I'm not exactly sure if... Yeah, that's the boost position on the flower pots. So if the flash timing isn't correct, Nekis can do a lot of damage from this position. Let's wait and see.
He's going to come close. Good utility control at least here. Forces Nekis off the flower pot before he can find any real impact, but it's Steel from Ghost that moves in to take down Nekis and get the original B site control. However, Luminosity not going to go down without a fight. Nice find from Steel on the side of Luminosity, but it's traded by Neptune the other way. Takes out Luminosity Steel. Leaves us into a 3v3 now. Luminosity still seem to want to attempt this, but they need to form up a bit more quickly here.
It's very unlikely that they make this work. 2 AWPs, especially when one of them is caught behind a CT spot, but Henny somehow, some way finds a frag out to Wardell, and with a kit, this is possible.
Lucas gets the second kill, leaving Neptune all alone. They know he's here inside of Emo as well, and it's a quick peek from Yell to shut him down. Luminosity will not go down without a fight as they win the 3v3 retake again here on the B-bomb site, taking control of yet another round.
this is a tough one. 2 incredibly tilting rounds that Ghost Gaming should probably have been able to win. And that's what they're communicating right now. They just need to do just a little bit better, because normally 9 out of 10 times they're going to win those rounds. Like 4v3 post plant with 2 ops retaking. You get the perfect flash timing to force up the power pods position. You get the bomb down. How do you not get that round? That's so...
Yeah. And
like, I can feel I'm getting frustrated. I know the players are way more frustrated than I am at this point.
Everyone fell flat in their individual 1v1s. Like, no one could get lucky and win a 1v1 right there, basically. And
that sucks to say it straight out for Ghost. We're going to need to refocus mentally. That's some of the words that were coming out of James RL, the coach there. I'm not sure if he was just saying, just win your duels. hard piece of help to go with there. But sometimes tough love is what you need.
We've got Ghost once again going to be prioritizing the A-bomb site in the early portion of the round. Luminosity has held off Rap side with their own initial smoke. Boiler is not really being controlled that well, though. Neither is Porch side here. The T's themselves have their own smokes to get into this bomb site, but it's blocked by the CT smoke. So right now, it's domination from Luminosity with Lucas leading the charge on. He's already got 3 kills. We'll see if he can make it 4 in a moment, as Kusta is going to dive into pit to try and continue this fight, but locked into the 1v4. There's not much hope for him, and he'll be taken down again by an Opper. It's Yell to find that last kill to tie us up at 7-7 as we're heading into the last round of the half.
Lucas is having such a solid half here. Look at this B defense, this A defense. Spraying 2 guys straight down to a smoke. Yes, he's got lucky with the first one on the timing, but just the knowledge of exactly where people could be in those situations and just straight checking them. 7-7, as you say. It's going to be the full investment since the last round of the first half, but there's just going to be pistols and utility. The T side are going to come pushing in. Yell picks up the first one, but it's 3-man stack. They're just going to walk into a wall of death.
Will not work.
A Brazilian wall of death. A very scary one of that. And Steel 1v5.
Steel knows they're going to get a little bit loopy with this. They're capitalized on it as much as he can, but does not see Lucas coming from the other side, so he's going to be able to pick up that final kill, as we do indeed see once again Luminosity leading the charge at halftime, 8-7 in their favor. Just barely, but they do indeed take the edge.
This is going to be a very important pistol round coming up. If Ghost Gaming don't get this, they're going to feel like everything's just going against them. And even though they kind of make the right decisions 95% of the time, they still lose the round. And then if you get maybe a kind of random pistol round that goes the way of Luminosity as well, that will be such a hard mental thing to come back from. So very important that they get this down right in this pistol round. You can see the full focus in the eyes of James, the coach. And the same with Steel, barking commands out. And Yell doing the same thing on the Brazilian side of things.
Not a whole lot more time to think and figure out the plan, as we are going to see them flip in just a second. Ghost, as surprising as this might seem, might not be completely panicked at this point, though. Remember, they're coming off of their T side right now, so they're jumping on the CT with 7 rounds Inferno. Certainly not bad at all to play off of, as long as they can get off to that strong start again. Because remember, they have won the large majority of the pistols that have been played out so far. Out of all 5 of them, they've won 4. We'll see if they can make it 5 out of 6 with this one.
Steel pushing in aggressively. The banana stack is working out for the CT side for now. Kuz to pick it up 1, 2, 3. Not a 4th one. His teammate steps into the fray and they just clean it up on banana. That's exactly what they needed. Some kind of confidence to get back into this. Because, yes, usually Inferno is kind of CT-sided, but as said before, with strategical teams such as Ghost, they actually win more of their rounds on the T side.
Yeah.
Yeah, and in this case, it's 57, almost 58% of their rounds are won on T side. So they need this extra boost. They need this confidence really, really badly. And now, Luminosity, they're just going to go for a round that's going to be based on getting the bomb down. Potentially just a second mid-explosion, maybe out of the apartments later, and then go for the plant. That could be the case, but it's going to be a rough one to win.
Overall, though, that pistol is the one area of this gameplay where Luminosity has not been able to best Ghost no matter how hard they try. They've taken 1 pistol out of 3 full maps now that have been played out. Yeah. Certainly not a great record to go home with, and Ghost is going to be happy they at least have that kind of safeguard to get them back into the game at halftime at minimum.
Ordell now in mid. UMP 45 will be surprised by this incoming push. He has to spray down all these incoming players. 1, 2 goes his way, and help comes in, and pretty much a mop-up.
That's the end of it right there, basically. Henny's going to see what he can do by sneaking through Speedway here.
If Neptune just pushes down Banana right now, that's going to be a free bomb plant. Let's wait and see.
I don't think anyone suspects him. He doesn't even have to go down. That's the thing.
Oh, no, he's the footstep.
Oh, that's awkward. And he's going to try to force the issue on the plant. He's going to get chased down by Neptune. And there we go. No plant. But they do awkwardly meet each other right below the steps leading to the B site.
I got dangerous there for a second.
I like how he's still trying to force the plant anyway. Like, maybe I can sneak it.
I'm going to fake the plant, guys.
Quick.
Now, communication once again from Sack. Just these small kind of like messages that you can bring in because of the DreamHack rule that you can actually talk as a coach, not just in the timeout, but all the time, basically. Yeah. Basically, what you want to do, you don't want to talk in the middle of the round. You want to talk when there's freeze time, and that's basically what Sack can do here. Just get like a small fix, or just get everyone pumped up, hyped up for the round. It's nice to see. I feel like CS should be like that. Whenever the game is not live, whenever you have freeze time and then a timeout, the coach should be able to talk.
That's the way it was. But as those of you who followed CS since at least 2016 remember, Valve didn't like that because basically they were making the coaches like IGLs essentially, because they could always talk, and Valve didn't like that, so started to restrict the rules in majors, and most TOs followed suit, but been the exception so far. Yell will do a nice start to this round for Luminosity, despite the trade that comes from Kusta. It actually clears out the B site. Oh, Neptune, the blind spam coming in through the smoke. Nets him the frag on Yell. Very well positioned. He still has to deal with Neck, and he knows it, but he's going to tap with the brakes here for a second. Wait for Steel to rotate in to give him better odds. Actually, this is going to get really awkward. His Neck I think, was trying to sneak through here for a second, but called it off when he saw Steel rotating. He believes he can win the 1v1 versus Neptune. Oh, even better, the info got transferred over to Lucas, so he reads into it and just completely pre-fires Steel when he tries to move outside of library.
Let's see how Neptune is going to play this. The second he rotates away from CT and those footsteps are heard, the bomb plant will go down from Nekis, and now Lucas is dead. Neptune's going to stay in his position. That means that Nekis will have to hunt now for this 1v1, but there's not time. He has to go for the plant, and surely the CT player will know this. Neptune will come in for the hunt. We'll pick him off with the MP7, pick up the AK as well. And now the hype is back in the camp of Ghost, and you can see it from James. Very important that he goes into the players and just kind of energizes them. Yeah. Give them the energy to just keep on going.
Give him props, because Neptune played that really well. Yeah. You know, Neptune never got overconfident or tried to, play for more intel than he necessarily needed at any given time. Just played it nice and safe. And that's going to be frustrating for the player from Luminosity that was trying to outwin him the entire time with the bomb, because he can't do anything. He has no intel on where that player's actually at, so he has to try and be sneaky, but it's basically a shot in the dark, whatever move he makes.
And that can sometimes actually be even better than fixing mistakes, just to tell the players when they do something good. Yeah. Because then you kind of force them into a habit of, okay, this is positive, I'm going to keep doing that. It's like a subconscious thing. Very nicely done by Ghost in general. Like they've returned in great form back into the server after that not so good end to the first half.
So they've done a good job of re-solidifying their advantage, that's for sure, and getting a strong start on the CT side, getting past the initial investment from Luminosity. Made it over that hump. For the rest of Luminosity, this round is probably going to be a little bit rough for them. Torres is already picking off one of them and doing good damage to a second. There's the kill. It's not a whole lot working out here for Luminosity. They're fishing for something on the A site, but similarly to B, it's not going to come easy. This Ghost is playing this passively on the A site.
Bomb on the back of Steel.
One boost, I think. Kind of. Didn't really work.
Double sprayed out.
That just feeds Neptune 2 kills. And then Lucas also falls pretty quickly afterwards. It's Ghost up to 11 now. 5 more rounds. And they'll have what they need to close out this series. Maybe not the fashion the folks at home expected, but indeed close out this series and push them on into the grand finals.
This is the buy round, though, coming in from Luminosity. They have enough money so they can go for exactly what they want. They have every opportunity open. Sack once again taking a timeout to communicate. From the hand gestures, apart from what he's telling technically, which I can because I don't either lip read or speak Portuguese, you kind of see with his hand gestures, he's telling him, just relax, guys, you got this. Focus on the game, don't get too energetic. We need to get a couple of rounds and then we can start yelling again because we need this momentum back on our side. And we're not going to get it by rushing headlessly into duels and doing all this stuff that teams somehow tends to do when they're a little bit too hyped and it's not going their way.
So jumping back into the 20th round now. We've got Luminosity actually waiting for that aggression from Ghost, playing it passively.
And right now, I can assure you that Zach is very happy. This is exactly what he wanted. Just wait for them to make a mistake, guys. Just chill, relax, hold your positions, trust in the setup. And it works, and now they have a 5v4.
Ghost make the play, and indeed they do. So Luminosity will strike on that. Henny specifically gets the credit for the kill there, taking down Kuster early on. And bringing the potential for Ghost down quite a bit overall here. They even spot player on Rap side. Neptune gets caught trying to move inside of the cubby on Rap side here. And we'll have to fall all the way back towards the library side now as a result of that. Wardell still kind of ready, it seemed like anyway, to take a challenge from Brackets, but decided against it. He also falls back to the A site. And Luminosity have their entire lead up. Steel even getting some damage off onto his doppelganger from the other side there. Forcing him to hold down below instead of up on top. So they've really forced quite a bit of movement here from Ghost, but they're not going to execute upon it. They're going to fall back, head over towards Banana, throw their plans here. That's a lot of shots coming in, but remember, it's only Sabrosa here to defend this site.
And he has no utility. There's no Molotov, there's no smoke to hold this back, so he's going to be alone on this site. The rotation is not going to be able to come in just in time, so he's going to have to hold this. Has to get one kill or buy time. Doesn't do either.
Very close to a frag on Neckis. In fact, it gets finished off upon. The rotates are here, though, and they're already finding impact. 3 retake kills from Ghost. And it brings Luminosity down to 3. Or excuse me, down to 2. It's Ghost that are on 3. Yell and Lucas sitting alone. They are at close contact points to fend off the push. Oh, and with the Krieg in hand, too. It's going to be hard to get past. Yell picks up 2 out of 3. And now it's down to only 1. Neptune looking for the closeout here. He'll use his own smoke to maybe force the issue on the defuse, and is actually waiting for Lucas on the outside. Well done once again by Neptune as he clutches it out once more for Ghost.
What a play by Neptune there. You can see it on James as well, just pointing down this guy right here. That's the future. Great read as well. He knows that that smoke has to force out either a push from the Coffin's position out of construction or the CT way out of construction. He gambles on it, chooses correctly. Actually, I would say it's more like a 60-40, so he chooses the logical one. He just straight goes for the win in the duel. The opponent's still moving, so not even able to reset his cross in that situation. Very nicely played by Neptune.
He's making some very smart plays, very impactful plays, more importantly, Neptune is. And this is doing good work for him right now. Really keeping Ghost alive in this event. And more importantly, proving his own name for an incredibly young player with still a very, very long future ahead of him. We're going to see Luminosity just try to go for push towards Banana to start things off here. They'll move up with 4 to 5 of their players. They'll keep Lucas behind at the start of this. Everyone else in position to try to push past the half wall. There is a little bit of resistance that comes in from Ghost. No one actually pushes the extremity. Tries to play out from the angle. They just use utility to do that. But Kusta gets a spot. Finds Neckis boosting over the wall. Takes him down. And that kills the aggression for now. Luminosity back out entirely towards the mid portion of the map and just leave Henny behind to watch against anyone who would try to crunch them later. Sabrosa does see the pressure coming from mid, so he'll pop the smoke off at Brackets and try to waste even more time here.
Neckis already down. And goes to the potential chance of getting an even bigger lead now. Setting up smokes towards an A execute with the lurk onto Banana. So taking control of top mid. Still, there's a gap in this smoke, so if they decide to aggress onto short, he's going to be able to shut it down, but they're going to go through CT. And that's not the lurk on Banana, that's the pinch coming in as well. But Neptune has read it like a book. He takes 1 for 1 and gets a ton of information. And look at the time now. Henny will get 1, but will they have time to get this bomb down?
That's a very important
I actually doubt it. I think it's too late.
And what's even worse about this is they get the kill they needed on site. They killed the 1 player who would have interfered with them planting, but they still just don't have enough time because Luminosity had poorly timed everything else out. So that's very unfortunate for them, and is definitely going to be causing some frustrations.
I like that kid. He stopped the dab. That's the new generation. I believe in the new generation. Stop the dabbing. We do see a timeout. from Luminosity. They are out now, and definitely after a tilting round like that, nice to get some control back in, because that was just unfortunate to say the least. I think that's a very nice way of saying that didn't go well.
Yeah, very much the case. And so we'll jump back into it here in just a moment now, guys. This could very much be one of our Apex rounds now, as Luminosity have drained their bank account once again. No additional money left in the cash flow, and we're looking at Ghost pushing up on 14, maybe 15 rounds. Luminosity really can't afford to eco anymore. They can't afford to go for light buys where they basically kind of seed the round to Ghost by default, as that's just going to be too much of a risk, considering how far behind Luminosity still are. Yet to win a round on this T side.
Crunch time for both of these teams. Map 3, getting over 20 rounds already, and Ghost with a chance to force the issue. Nekis and the boys now pushing into mid. Steel flashed off that, but has to rotate up towards apartments. It's all a part of the plan. Don't worry about it, but look at the rotations that has come in. There's 3 players on this bomb side. 2 players on the bomb side, 1 in pit, and 1 who can rotate in, who's actually holding the arch right now. This is the perfect read from Ghost. They're basically playing 4A, 1B, and it looks like the hit is going to come towards A, so they got this. They got this like an open book, but now Kuz has not heard something in a while, so he's rotating back, a bit afraid of what could come the other way. He's kind of focused on the B side right now, but in a second when footsteps are heard on the opposite side, he can come in with a quick rotation, but still, 2 players on the bomb side, 1 in pit. That's going to be Steel with the first one.
You're looking for more here as well. Thrown off for a moment, and that will allow Nekis to sneak through the smoke. Subrosa once again has to come in to save the day, but Steel from Luminosity picks up another kill for the team as they continue to move forward. Subrosa ready to take the fight, though, picks up another trade as he goes down to Henny into the 2v2, but Steel misses an opening shot. It's traded upon. They're still not worried about the pit position, but Henny also misses his shot. Neptune given a chance to clutch once again. He's lagged, but no! Steel from Luminosity will close out instead, keeping the Brazilians in the game.
Very, very close there. I also think the flash timing that was supposed to clear out the angle, I'm not sure if Steel just dodged it or if it got misplaced or something, because look at this, they're going out and he's just sitting in the back of pit, not flashed at all. Did miss a couple of shots, but in the end landed it. Money still in the bank for Ghost, and because only 1 player surviving, Luminosity is just gonna have to drop a couple of weapons over. Lucas is only down at the Desert Eagle. There's going to be UMP 45 on Yell, so still an advantage weapons-wise for the Ghost Gaming guys. And they know they can shut them down once again. They basically have 2 chances in a row of doing this. Also now, if they win this now, Ghost, Luminosity is going to be completely screwed, because there's going to be no lost bonus. That's done by now. That's over. Look at the money in their account. At max 1,600, but that's only 1 guy. The average is around 400. You're not going to be able to piece it by together with that. And if you do, it's going to be a bad one.
Ghost can certainly put an end to the streak from Luminosity here in the any potential hope of a comeback along with it.
Backs against the wall for the Brazilians. Did take the first challenge, but in Fairy Tales, challenges comes in 3.
Ghoster also playing, ooh, I like this setup. Ghoster playing this 3-man flow, but it's going to get detached by the mollies. Nicely done by Luminosity. Counters the setup from Ghost. They have to scramble for new positions all of a sudden. They look ready to do that, though. They quickly get into those new positions. Set up now to try and stop Luminosity, but the plan from Luminosity is not entirely clear just yet, especially with Yell going for the lurk back through CT spawn. Might be a little bit clearer now with Lucas's kill, though, as they seem to have bit back onto the A play, and Yell is even working his way back over to the site too.
They're playing 2-2 now, Ghost. This is very, very risky, especially with an A play coming in like this for Luminosity. Not a lot of utility left. Steel will find the first one, and this is the beginning of the push. Subrosa all alone now.
Subrosa, though, has been held well under pressure. At minimum, has been able to always trade 1-for-1. If he waited a little bit longer, though, and looked at the time, could have had so much more impact in that situation. Unfortunately, goes down. Fails at denying the plant, so it now goes onto the ground. Kusta, of course, already spotting it, just doesn't see anyone at all here from Luminosity. No intel given to him at all. He's going to try to wrap back around and work his way in from up on top instead. Neptune doesn't even want to get close to the site right now. You can see him. He's sitting way outside of arches. He's going to move in. Got a lock on a 1 player. Picks up the kill. But again, just too much time has gone by at this point. There's still 3 more players to knock out. They don't have any idea where they are.
And they don't have a kill.
Yeah.
This is definitely going to be the save. And Luminosity will win the 2 out of those 3 challenges. We'll get a little bit of a breather, because his next coming by for Ghost is not going to be the best. Definitely not the best after Lucas can nail another headshot with a Desert Eagle.
And that really saves Luminosity's butt, to be honest. As you were mentioning, losing bonus was completely gone for them, and they were out of any reserve cash that they still had built up at that point. So that would have quite literally been the realistic end of the game, at least in a long run perspective. It would have been the end. So they're kept into it. Very explainably so. We see Ghost go in for another pause call here. James even stepping in with his own.
2 still remaining. Definitely a lot of time and space for Ghost to think about, okay, how can they attack this? Even if they, probably as they are going to lose this round here, I don't see them forcing up around that 1 FAMAS. They can even take another pause coming into that next buy round. They have them at their disposal, so it's definitely possible. It's going to be a non-investment round. As I say that, of course, a P250 and a smoke is being purchased. That's just how it is sometimes.
It's going to be a very slow wind-up once again. Luminosity is still playing incredibly cautious, especially now that they know Ghost is broken. And it's going to be more than likely just on pistols for this upcoming round. So realizes they might be trying something a little bit more aggressive. They hold back and once again try to run down the timer to at least a minute more than likely here before they really attempt to take any control across the map here. For Ghost, it's a solid 4-man stack onto the B bomb site, leaving just Steel with a P250 and a smoke to defend A.
Stack. Let's see if Luminosity are gonna jump on that bait and go straight into the trap. I highly doubt it. Very intelligent players on this Brazilian squad. They can go the right way in this scenario.
Now coming in from Luminosity, just inching their way forward here. They are going to run pretty low on time, which is the only real negative about the plan right now, but with it just being Steel in the way. Oh, hold on now.
Interesting. Let's see if...
Is this just a walk around, or they actually... Oh, they're actually diverting to B.
On this.
So Steel's smoke has diverted them to B. The problem, though, is are they going to be able to stop this push since it's coming in from the direction they did not expect it to be? 2 of their players on Ghost have already gone down. Luminosity still standing with 5 strong in the meanwhile. They'll continue to push up. Wardell getting in the way. Kusta actually put 3 frags together. There may not be enough time for the plan anymore. In fact, they need to get down on the ground right now.
No way! No way!
They think Steel's hanging around here somewhere too. They don't realize that he was the one who threw the smoke back on A, and somehow, some way, that build-up works for Ghost, and they take the rack. Even Steel doesn't realize it.
He didn't even count on that. He was just like, okay, how much damage can we do to this? But this spray down here from Kusta, that saves the entire round. 3 kills from him completely puts the wrench in the gear of the plans of Luminosity. And not like this. Not like this.
Had to be the eco, right?
Had to be the eco.
Had to be the eco. It's always the way it seems to fall apart, unfortunately, here in Counter-Strike. And it's looking like that might be the way that Luminosity falls, as they're in that same position they were in the last gun round. Ghost has them down to the bare bottom of their bank accounts. And without a losing bonus, they're not going to be able to compete against Ghost. As with this win, they will push up to 15 rounds. Only 1 more will stand between them and absolute victory in the series.
First frag has gone to Wardell and Yell, trying to inch in with his streak. That gold on the scope might be the only gold he's going to see this tournament. If these next 2 rounds goes to Ghost, no chance of getting any of that trophy in
Neptune again, playing this so smart right now, wasting a lot of time, if not picking up kills. Lucas will be able to trade him, but it's after Yell is lost. So Ghost will still maintain a +1 advantage despite losing 1 of their own. Kusta is also going to be getting ready now for the push, but he's a tad too aggressive. Ends up peeking out from the old car spot and gets picked by Henny. So Rosa left to stop the pressure again, and he's done a great job of it. Drops the bomb, tries to counter out Lucas, but that won't be successful. And now we go down into a 2 versus 2. Both of the remaining Ghost players working in a retake from Banana.
This is oh, they're going to run straight through the Molotov. Or at least one of the players are, but that's a big problem. Seems like there was some kind of communications issue, because usually you have to make a decision very fast. Do we run through or do we stay back? 1 went through and 1 stayed back, and now it's all on Wardell.
Got to immediately deal with him as soon as he peeks out too, and he's just not ready for it. Hetty takes him down. Luminosity wrestle back control of their own situation.
We have a game now, John. This is interesting.
It's going to come down to the wire to settle this, that's for sure. And it could still very well end in regulation time, or potentially even more likely, considering the way we've been bouncing back and forth now. Overtime, certainly in the cards for either team.
14-11. Pistols, but still a full investment for Ghost in this one. They're trying to push down middle aggressively. Wardell will find one, but surely there's no way they're going to get this one. Messed up Nate. Lucas will take some damage. Yell. Just hiding for now. Steel not being able to hit the spray straight away. But luckily for him, his teammates are going to be able to come in and clean.
They've got under control. There's only one loss as well, so good job from Luminosity. They see the pressure coming against them. They don't panic. They maintain. They keep 4 players standing alive. And that's good, because if we remember, their money was in a bit of a bad spot as of the last round, so they definitely still need to build up a bit more of a reserve to play off of, especially if the rounds are going to continue to go back and forth in the way that they have been. We expect Luminosity to push forward a little bit more here now, since Ghost is going to go on to an eco. So they should be able to get to 13 or 14, depending on the way that Ghost end up playing the next round. But still. It is Ghost that has to quickly prepare themselves to get back into this game. This Luminosity is about to run a number on them.
A full eco. As we are probably going to see round 28 before we get the full buy going for Ghost again. And at that point, it's going to be too close to call.
Luminosity seems to have all but given up any hopes of conquering Banana for this round, and it's a good thing too, as that's where the stack was positioned from Ghost, or at least the heavier of the 2 setups that they have right now. It was a 3-man play over towards the B-bomb site. We don't see that come into execution, so the A players are more than likely going to end up being tested, where 2 of them are positioned at steal, again with that smoked too, and Wardell. And they're going to try to have this work out for themselves. Luminosity still taking that very slow approach to things as well. They've moved in to take apartments control, but they haven't gone for brackets or any other part of this map, really.
Nekis slowly but surely walking his way in towards Banana. The bomb is behind him. He's the one who's just going to have a look in and see if it's clear. Fast timing, and he's taken out 1 for 1. They're very happy about that on the CT side, but now the push comes the other way.
And it will be executing into the A bomb site now that the bomb has fallen back and regroup with the A push. One player falling inside a pit. Wardell trying to hold his own, but just the need to USP. Can't hold off against that. Down to 2 here now. Granted, Neptune has himself an AK from the kill he dropped before, but losing 66 of his HP from the second he jumps into the site, he's going to decide to call it off instead, and will prioritize saving the AK for the next round, as I'm pretty sure a few players are still going to be under kind of adequate buying conditions.
Yeah.
But they're probably going to want to buy it anyway.
Steel definitely not going to have enough money for an M4 and utility, so saving that 1 AK is perfect. That means that everyone can probably get on decent utility and a rifle. And more than just 1 kit.
So Rosie going to move in, see if he can sneak off anything. He can do a little bit of chip damage to a player in pit, maybe. The bomb explosion may be enough to kill him, but no, it's outright denied by Henny. He sees that coming from a mile away, and will happily stay alive after the bomb explodes.
This is a Counter-Strike game, man. This is what we want when we go to events like this. You can see it in the face of SAC, in the face of the players. This is what it comes down to. A map 3, very, very close in the end. Winner goes straight to the grand final, losers eliminated. Everything's on the line for these 2 teams that, well, Ghost are trying to prove themselves that, yes, we can play online and play well in the EPL and do well there, but we can also do this on LAN. And Luminosity on the other side has had a terrible last couple of months, and they want to bounce back, and this could be their way of bouncing back. So a lot on the line for both of these teams here.
It's already one of the more higher placings that we've seen Luminosity get here, but if they can push it forward into the grand finals, that'll be the highest since Valencia, correct?
Yep. That's the trophy they're fighting about. It's going to be actually not as good as I hoped for Ghost. They're going to opt to go for utility over firepower, apart from Wardell. That means the skill is going to be on the Mag 7. Probably in the apartments. Anywhere else would be kind of hilarious. And then the MP7.
The problem with the Mag 7, though, is that if they don't go apartments, he's going to have a really hard time using it anywhere else on the map. Because this map has so many just long corridors that Mag 7 is going to turn useless into like
it's kind of like
60% of the situation.
Back in the day that Cobblestone was in the mix. If you didn't play it in drop zone, like it's just useless.
The thing was though with Cobble is there was like more than one spot you could play it at least. Like there was like 3 or 4 different positions where it would be somewhat useful. So you could at least move to one of those spots. But
yeah,
that's the problem with this map is there's not really a good rotate position that gun can go to.
But he has it in the apartments. Everyone's happy. Question is, are Luminosity going to be happy when they run face first into a shotgun? Gets one shot off, 48 HP on Steel. Sabrosa's going to go run back through the Molotov, and this push will initiate on Banana. One player rotating in and a secondary rotator coming in through CT spawn. If they want to go for this, that's going to be 3 CT players on this bomb site.
This is still a really awkward setup in my opinion here by putting Sabrosa, who's already at 50 HP up in the flower pot. They're dooming him to be traded even quicker than normal.
This is the fake.
We are going to see the pressure being thrown into the site now. It hasn't pulled the 1A player off the site. Neck is still finding impact regardless, though. Deletes Ward L, but does get traded by Neptune a moment later. Steel's going to have to hold this. There's the shotgun up close. I'll take back what I said about the hall as he can. He's in the open, in fact. Now number 3, maybe? How about number 4? No, he's very close, though, and has done massive damage in addition to wasting time. The plant now needs to be forced, but here comes the cavalry. The rotates have arrived, but they're split. That's the issue. They're not going to be able to play together here, as both Sabrosa and Neptune are going to take different paths to get into this site.
There are no pieces of utility left. No Molotov, no smokes, no flashes. Great position by Yell. If he looked the other way, but he won't. Sabrosa coming in with the angle, and now Henny 1v2 with the op.
He's going to back up. He knows the pressure's going to end up coming from the apartment side and the porch side. On top of that, he manages to get the first kill. One more to take out Luminosity. That'll finish him off. And of course, who else but the star player we've been seeing this entire tournament win it out for Luminosity. He does it once again on an incredibly pivotal round to tie up the match.
I'm not sure if they have any timeouts left, but I would probably take a timeout right now just to get all the headsets into order. That is an insane clutch by Henny. What a play, rolling back the years. And Lucas just throwing everything on the ground for his brother there.
So a quick technical pause, I would imagine, to fix that, which means our players are not going to be able to talk for a few seconds here. And Ghost, obviously going to be very, very disappointed with the way that that round played out for themselves here. Steel nearly clutching it out, nearly saving the day. At the very minimum, opening up a really great opportunity to win that post-plant 2v2 due to how low he brought both of the remaining Ts. I think they were both under 20 HP, but we just could not see them close out. Sabrosa, of course, got the drop on Yell, but Henny held strong and closed out the 2v1.
14-14. Low investment round for Ghost. Not a big chance of winning it here, but with the backs against the wall in the next one, they'll have to take it, or else it's going to be Luminosity. And if they do, we're going to think all back to that 1v2 clutch by Henny. That has to be the game-winning moment, if that so happens, but anything can still happen. I have 3 nades ready on the get-go for Ghost. That's on the top of Banana. The second that someone hears a step or someone spots something, 3 straight nades in the face. Astralis-esque setup, getting all that sweet utility damage. Let's see, Henny might be on the receiving end of that. Nope, that's too far away. That's not going to do any damage whatsoever. It was a timing instead of a sound cue or like a piece of utility clue, and it's not going to work out.
They almost were on point with it, though, because it was looking like for a second there, Ghost, or excuse me, Luminosity was going to try to push their way up. If they maybe threw those nades like 3 seconds later, probably would have done some decent damage to at least 2 or 3 players.
Yeah. Now it's just going to be the one flashbang and then some body armor and the kit on Steel. This is very unlikely. If they can just get 1 or 2 frags, if they can get 1 on Nexus, yeah, the money's still too high. It doesn't matter in the end, actually.
Even worse is the fact that they do end up pushing up Banana anyway. It's not looking like they're going to execute upon it. It looks like they're going to do like a mini fake again here. Just kind of a haphazard one they're going to put together real quickly. It'll work, too. That's the best part. It'll pull them away. But actually, the fake has turned into an actual hit now because Luminosity do decide to bring the bomb back. But with the delay that's happened between now and the plant, it's allowed for Ghost to rotate their players. The problem is they just don't have the impact to get back into this fight. As you were saying, they only had that 1 flashbang. That's already been used. 2 of their players have been dropped. They're just throwing themselves in the meat grinder, it seems, at this point, as Luminosity's going to tear them to shreds. And with that, they'll push up on the map and series point to push Luminosity into the grand finals here at the DreamHack Open.
This is it. Luminosity with the chance to do what they have, let's be real, failed to do so many times in these DreamHack Opens. Get in that final, get in the fight for the trophy. And it seems like that's going to be... actually...
I think they're swapping one, actually.
Lucas might have been playing without sound that last round.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Because that's usually what you do if something goes wrong. You just... Like, you saw Zach very...
Well, yeah, because you can't go dead round.
Yeah. Very focused on getting something switched out, so he probably played without sound that last round.
And now I'm curious if the celebration from round like 27 or 28, whatever round that was what caused it. Because if so, then
I think so.
They kind of have to play on that. That's like the there's like a rule in either hockey or golf where if you like break too many sticks or clubs, you have to like play with the broken one or something like that. Yeah. I forget where that happens. I think it's in golf. Like you don't get a new one if you break it or something like that. If it's your own fault, like if you do it out of frustration.
Interesting.
Or celebration.
They do that in tennis sometimes as well.
Do they?
Yeah, not play with a broken, but they're pretty good at breaking like rackets.
It'd be interesting if like TO started forcing that on players.
You only get one headset.
Break the headset during celebration? Well, sucks to suck.
But what doesn't suck is this game right now. 14-15, stone face on James and the rest of the Ghost Gaming camp. Having to refocus themselves, bring it all into one round. A loss in this one, they're out. They're out of the race. No chance of getting that trophy. No chance of getting their share of the $100,000 prize pool. A win will take it to OT. And of course, OT in map 3, what else?
It just seems all too likely, right?
Yeah. Who wrote this script?
We'll have to see, of course, if that prophecy will come true once we do get back into the game. Those of you who might have just joined us, as a quick reminder, we were in a technical pause there. One player, I think, had a broken headset and/or a broken earpiece, depending on what happened a few rounds back. But it has been fixed and swapped out now, so we are back into the action. The 30th round on the third map of this series. The winner going onwards into the grand finals. Can Ghost tie it up, or will Luminosity shut things down and cause a heartbreak for the Ghost fans?
A huge risk being made in this round by Ghost, going for the double up setup with only one smoke between them. Only one kit on steal as well, so they're deciding to go for firepower over utility in this one. And on Inferno, that can be a very dangerous path to go down on. You want to have those smokes to block off, you want to have those Molotovs to pushes in the end, and look like this 1:15 remaining, they only have 2 smokes left, a couple of flashbangs. Look at the T side. Molotov and 4 of those smokes, actually 5. Full utility package.
I am very curious how this aggression on Banana is going to pan out, because they haven't been doing that at all in this entire CT side so far. They've been very swayed away. At most, they'd push half wall, but that's about it. This is the first time they've gone deep Banana in my eyes so far in this half.
Are they going to clear the corner with a Molotov? Nope.
It's going to miss. Instead, just going to push back anyone that might be holding close to the wall. Ooh, here we go. Here's the push. But look, Neckis is watching for it. Moves in. There's a smoke to cover the escape of one of their players, but it doesn't matter because Henny grabs the kill anyway. And now the B site, the gates have been swung wide open. And Luminosity can just charge right in. Ghost are trying to send reinforcements from the other side of the map, but they're going to be cut off by smokes. Best thing they can hope for is to take garden control at this point and use that as a retake point. Oh, that's what they're going to do. Steel's going to go up on top. Will it work, though? The lineup's there, but he can't find the impact. He just does damage. Brings Neckis down to 7 HP. Speaking of which, he's ready to take fights regardless. Knocks out Wardell. Lucas finds Steel. Neptune goes down after 1 kill, and Luminosity will move on into the grand finals of the DreamHack Open Atlanta.
What an insane turn of events. The Brazilian squad turn it around, and you can see how much it means to them. So happy with that one round. Round number 27, that was the round that sealed the deal. Yes, greatly done here in the last one, but that 1v2 clutch from Henny will go down in the history books of the DreamHack Open as a semi-final winning clutch. What a way.
Essentially a small victory in the globe's eyes, but a massive victory for Luminosity, especially when you consider how this matchup started off for them. A very poor performance on their own map pick, but still, they managed to bring it back on Dust to their opponent's pick, and for the most part of the second half, shut down Ghost there, and then take the third map all the way to 30 rounds where they would control that as well.
They were down 1-6 in the beginning of Inferno. 1-6 with Ghost on the T side, and still they managed to take it 16-14 is the score of the last map, and Luminosity are going to win it. We're going to take it over to the analysts to see what they have to say.
Hey, appreciate it, guys. We're going to be taking it from here, and I think that there's one word that I'm going to need everybody in chat to type right now. It's going to be Braziliancy, because the resilience that they've just shown here will certainly be one for the books. And of course, to do that, when we start to look back at this matchup, it's going to be Dust, Bach, and myself. Guys, what a showing there in the end.
Okay, so just to gloss over the first two matches, we're short on time, and I think we really need to focus on Inferno. I mean, Ghost just dominated Train. Like, wasn't even really close. There was a mini comeback in the first half from LG, but they really wiped the floor with that map. Dust 2, LG had a slow start. Ghost was actually out in front 6-1, but then Ghost only won 4 more rounds in the last 19 of that game. Luminosity played this really annoying aggressive style where they kept putting pressure, made it really hard for Ghost to rotate. Good performances out of their team. And then we come to Inferno, where again, Ghost has a huge lead. It looks so good. I feel like they blew a couple of rounds on their T side where they would get, you know, like into a 2-on-2, 3-on-3 type situation, make a mistake. LG would take advantage of it, keep the game close. And then we go in that second half, it came down to clutches. Kusta had a big one with the FAMAS on the A site. Henny had the 1v2 over on the A site. And man, oh man, like it just really came down to the wire from that point.
I mean, looking at some of those rounds in the first half, there's a 3v3 on the B site early on where it's Ward out with an AWP, and he's actually peeking towards CT spawn. He peeks, spots an AWPer, and then he wide peeks, dies, and the whole retake comes in from LG. That kind of seemed like it happened frequently. There's another round where Kusta's pushed up. He's hiding behind the plywood on Banana behind Car. If he just stays there and just anchors down, he maybe gets a kill, at least gets traded out, but at least it's one. Instead he peeks. There's 2 players bottom Banana, one with an AWP, he gets picked off, and all of a sudden the push comes through B. That felt like it just kept happening over and over. And even though there was some hero efforts, like Steel, for instance, with that Mag 7 on A site.
Yeah,
like I thought,
like
this is the round. If he wins this, it's it. It's done.
But then that happened.
Yeah.
That happened pretty much afterwards.
This is the same round. So like that's just what kept happening. They would have the mid-round stuff. They just couldn't get the late round.
I mean, think of this. Like, LG had 2 rounds in that second half they lost because the clock ran out of time. Like, their composure was also quite crumbling. Like, they only won that game 16-14, and they had a couple of big blunders there. It really did come down to, I think, that 1v2 clutch from Henny, and then just really controlling the economy. They hard reset Ghost. You know, the last round that Ghost won before we saw them go on a 6-round winning spree was really because of that hard economic reset. And now you look at this, man. Look at the numbers Steel is putting up all tournament long. It's insane. He top frag for the series.
Yeah, and Wardell disappeared as well, which was a little bit frustrating for Ghost.
First 2 matches especially.
And Steel, definitely a guy that you can imagine we're going to be hearing from again, and I can only just wait to see the smile in this man's face.
Man, that's got to be great.
Let's take a look at that. Oh my goodness, he's smiling again. Steel, congratulations, buddy. That one had to have been a little bit tough on the heart, huh?
Yeah, it was super tough, man, especially the last map, which was a great comeback, and I'm so happy.
Steel, you also have to be happy with your numbers, man. I mean, we kind of talked about this last time we talked to you about how the roles have been changing on Luminosity in this tournament. You have been a lot more assertive. You know, you're not playing the edge of the map anymore. You're kind of one of the main guys going in on the T side, and you were the top fragger for the entire series. You've been dominating all tournament. What's going on, man? Like, where's this coming from?
Well, I don't know, to be honest. Maybe because I'm playing differently. I'm playing like I used to play on Counter-Strike Source. Like, I'm more confident on my aim, which I was not like a long time ago for a long period of my career. And right now I don't care. I'm gonna go for the duels.
Well, there you go. I got one more for you. You know, this is actually only the second finals that Luminosity has been on offline in probably like a year and a half, obviously Valencia being the other one. I mean, just tell me how that feels for a moment to, you know, go from the struggles you've been having online to now making the finals of this tournament.
Oh, it's awesome, and I'm so relieved because, as you said, we have been struggling a lot, but on LAN, for some reason that I do not know, we were playing like super good. Like in Valencia, we were second, and now we are on the finals. So I'm just relieved that all this online season doesn't mean anything for us when we are playing on LAN.
All right, first of all, let me apologize on behalf of myself and the rest of the desk for doubting you guys throughout this tournament.
Shame on you guys, man.
We've constantly predicted against you, and you guys showed up. You know, looking at the role changes like Dust was mentioning, Lucas came into this game as kind of an underwhelming performer, not someone we really look at to be like a top performer. And then he went huge for you guys on Dust 2 and Inferno. Was there any kind of changes made between yesterday and today that affected that?
Actually, talking about in-game, nothing changed, to be honest. He's the same as most of the pro players. He's based on momentum and on his confidence. When he got that, he's a super good entry fragger, and he keeps calling a lot when he's confident. So he gives a lot of ideas for the team and for the individual players.
So obviously Inferno was a grind, right? I mean, you had a couple of rounds where you ran out of time and lost it because of that. You know, Henny got the 1v2 clutch, which seemed to kind of reinvigorate you. Almost too much, you know, obviously had to deal with the headsets and stuff like that. How are you guys going to be able to keep your composure going in the finals when you've had rounds like that you've had to go through in the semi?
I mean, that's like what Henny did and like what every one of us did after that round. That's why we play Counter-Strike, you know, that's why, that's the reason, because we Brazilians, we are so emotional, and this passion is what like keep us like keep moving forward, because man, there's a lot of pressure on our shoulders after this season, so, and that's the happy moments that keep us alive.
Now, Steel, I kept eye on the chat there during and throughout your victory, and let me tell you, there was a ton of Portuguese just flying through the bars of lines there. Anything you could say to that, or in Portuguese to those people?
Yeah. É isso aí, rapaziada. Tamo na final de novo, caralho.
All right, man, we're going to let you get back to it. We know you got to get prepared for this grand final, and we're going to do the same here.
Thank you very much.
See you later, man. All right, so first and foremost, in case you just missed that semifinal, it was a banger. It was a mashup. It was a clash of what would be two regional titans there in Luminosity and Ghost Gaming. But you should have been following along on all the action of your favorite esports events using the Strafe Esports app. That's right. Use it to follow all the major esports tournaments and major esports game. Head over to the Apple Store or the Google Play Store if you're one of those Android people. Can't really fault you. I mean, it's your own choice, I guess. You really live that life, I suppose. You guys cool with that, or?
I mean, I guess I'm one of those people.
Oh.
I just see now why there's a divide between us.
Yeah, the divide that even makes the desk a little bit slanted. Either way, we're going to be going to a break. When we come back, it's going to be Vitality and Complexity squaring off. And that, my friends, is our next semifinal. A best of three to determine who's going to be meeting Luminosity in the Grand. So be here with us when we come back.